Hello, yeah, okay, so FNAF is finally out in DVD, and people seem a little mixed on it. Some are blindly praising every aspect of the DLC because it's FNAF, while others, like me, seem a little disappointed. And how could that be? I mean, Springtrap is here, right? Look at him. He's finally in DVD. This is the biggest chapter in the game's history, right? And look, all the DVD YouTubers are saying he's great, or he has an infinite skill ceiling, or spamming out videos 2 seconds after the PTB, screaming and faking their reactions, and here I am as the party pooper, right? Well, let me, as I always do, say my completely unfiltered thoughts on this chapter, particularly the killer, and go over why I think he kinda sucks. Now, like my Kaneki video, I want to get this out quick, so I won't have my usual flashy editing, but as I mentioned before, nobody in this community really cares about effort, so this should be right up your alley, right? But anyways, most of this footage is from my recent stream, by the way. So as a FNAF kid, Springtrap was my most anticipated killer and the one I wanted in the game the most. Despite some saying he doesn't fit, I think having such a modern license from a video game series would do the game a lot of good. And who knows what kind of crazy power they could give him. They could have made him able to control and take the form of multiple different animatronics with their own abilities around the map, like Foxy running quickly or Freddy stealthing around just like in the first game. Or he could be like a stealth hybrid jump scare killer who could use the phantoms from the third game as his power. There's basically infinite possibilities, so what did we get?
Ow.
Why is he what? Oh, dude, we have such an iconic license. Let's have him throw an axe. Oh, what other character throws an axe? Wow, that's such a fucking good idea, dude. Let's make him alien, fucking xenomorph huntress, dude.
Look, maybe I got my expectations a little too high for, you know, the biggest chapter in the game's lifespan, but this shit is incredibly lame. Throwing a fire axe is a ranged attack that explodes into a AoE bubble that's 3 feet wide and does nothing but provide killer instinct is the stupidest, most video gamey way of going about a power like this, and it doesn't fit him at all. Like, seriously, at all. When in the games did he ever throw an axe? I thought his whole thing was being a methodical, slow-paced, stalking killer, not just throwing shit at you literally. I remember the dev said he was unique and compared him to Dracula, and I can't for the life of me fathom why. What is unique about another mid-range zoning ability with the exact same counterplay as every other mid-range zoning ability in the game? You either drop a pallet and they hit you during the animation, or greet it and hope he lifts it up so you can make another loop. And if you're out in the open, just run around randomly and hope he misses. That's it. There's nothing you can do as this killer that you couldn't do as other ranged killers. Some of which aren't 110 movement speed, by the way. When I saw he was a slower than average movement speed killer with a smaller terror radius, I got excited. I thought it would be something fresh like Chucky, who wasn't just a recycled mess of other killers and literally provided an entirely new perspective to the game. But honestly, I don't even understand why Springtrap is 110. I get he's 115 when you don't have your axe, but that just makes you not want to use it. Can someone please fill me in on how exactly this fits the character? His power icon is a swirling axe. Is that what you think of when you think of Springtrap? Nothing else? I do think it's a good thing though that we finally have a killer who can throw axes from a distance, because I was wondering how it didn't have such a simple and brilliant concept for a killer at this point. The axe also just feels terrible to use. Its hitbox for obstacles is way too big, leading you to miss shots that you would be hitting as older, ironically stronger killers. It also has this ridiculous arc like there's a 50-ton bowling ball attached to it. I understand it's like this so you can try hitting survivors over obstacles or walls, which just isn't a viable playstyle to begin with because it relies on the survivors just being bots and standing AFK and a lot of luck too. The axe has horrible range out in the open and can't even hit people who are like 15 meters away from you no matter how high you throw it, which is just ridiculous. Besides, hitting people over walls with an axe is what Springtrap does. The mastermind child murderer who meticulously stalks you throughout the games. He's just running out in the open and hitting you with an axe. Like, are we serious? This is the best we could think of? It just doesn't fit him at all. This is just way worse than any other licensed killer in terms of faithfulness. Consider Pinhead's power, for example, and how perfect it is for the character while being incredibly unique and counterable. There's an entirely different feel in trials with Pinhead. Springtrap, on the other hand, just throws an axe at you, and if he misses it, it leaves an AoE on the ground with killer instinct. What the fuck even was this, by the way? I usually at least understand where devs are coming from with concepts, but I actually don't know what the point of this thing is or why the radius is so small considering it's just killer instinct. Like, what is this? The game can't even seem to decide if it wants you to get the axe back quickly after hitting someone or if you want it to stay in them longer, considering there's an add-on for both. It'd be like if Artist had an add-on that made her birds come off quicker so you could start the cooldown quicker. It's just so weird, like they have no idea what they're doing with him. The power description says having the axe lodge in you makes you vulnerable, but what exactly is vulnerable about being chased by an M1 killer with shitty wall hacks on you? Being swarmed by an artist or weakened by an unknown is what vulnerable actually looks like, because they can actually take a health state from you and even through walls. But this isn't. Do they mean that because he can do a flashy animation when he could just M1 you right out in the open? because that's just for show. There's nothing gameplay affecting about it besides the fact that you can avoid flashlights, but you can just, like, look at a wall. This is another thing that's just made for streamers to scream and be like, oh, that's so cool, dude! Besides that, the axe still just feels so sluggish to use. Not just the arc, I swear you get slowed down like way more than most ranged killers on top of the fact that you're already 110. And you're not even a ranged killer since the farthest you can go is like 3 nemesis tentacles away. It's pathetic. Nothing about this is unique, strong, or anything. It doesn't have the highest skill ceiling in the game, despite what these fake bootleggers tell you. It's just recycled garbage we've seen a million times. This is supposed to be the bread and butter of his power, and it's just so lame. There's nothing you can do as this killer that will make you go, well, I'm glad I'm playing Springtrap, that was cool, because he's just dog shit that we've already seen, as well as being fairly weak. So fine, if I'm so negative about this axe, then what about the other parts of his power? The doors. I mean, this is cool, right? This is unique. The survivors can look at you in the cameras just like in the game, and you can even jump scare them in the office. Yeah, not really. I genuinely feel like this whole interaction, while cool, was just made to farm ScreamTuber clips because the gameplay is nothing new still. First of all, the idea of an anti-loop killer with a teleport is so boring at this point. We have like, what, 7 at this point? Demogorgon was the first to do it and it was new back then, but the main difference is that most of these killers do something different, whether it be Freddy with his unique dream world mechanics and pallet traps, or the Unknown with his unique projectile that actually has an infinite skill ceiling. The closest killer I can think to compare him to is Xenomorph, because he also has a teleport system at fixed chest spots in the map, as well as having a mid-range anti-loop tool. What's hilarious about that is that Springtrap is so recycled that he's a recycled version of an already recycled character. Xenomorph on launch was often called Nemogorgon because of his similar teleportation power to Demogorgon, and his whip attack being similar to Nemesis. He's already one of the most uninspired killers in the game and even has built-in counterplay that he doesn't need considering his strength. So honestly, he's a perfect comparison to Springtrap, where they took 2 killers and just slammed them together with no thought. There's nothing unique gameplay-wise about these doors. Nothing is new. They look new, but the whole area of the office is not real. It's just an illusion. I was hoping maybe he'd be a killer who could have another playable area in the map to himself, sort of like the Void in the Halloween events, but no, you can't actually like run around the office. They work nearly identically to the Xenomorph's tunnels, except for the fact that without this add-on that should be base kit, by the way, you have absolutely no indication of where you should go, and you can't even mark a location like Xenomorph, or see survivors' footsteps above you like he can, which is one of the only unique things about Xenomorph. The main difference between him and other anti-loop teleport killers is that just by existing in the trial, you're already buffing survivors by giving them teleportation and free information on you via cameras. You think with how much shit he gives survivors, he'd be really strong or something, but all he has is a mediocre range attack and a slower movement speed. Survivors being able to literally teleport across the map saves them so much time when going for hook saves or rotating to another gen. It's incredibly embarrassing that we still have brain-dead killers like Blight in the game with no built-in counterplay, but Springtrap gives the survivors free teleportation and info just for existing? Kinda like Vecna, but far worse, because at least Vecna is a fairly strong killer, even though some of the items aren't necessary. I feel like it was more just to fit thematically with, seeing Springtrap on the cameras and all that, and the whole system is cool, but it would only really make sense if you had a power you had to get him out of by using the cameras or something. But honestly, I feel like most of the survivors will just choose to ignore the cameras and only use the doors for teleporting, since looking at them is a waste of time when your only reward for finding him is just aura reading. It's funny that one of the flaws of his power is there's no reason to use the cameras when that's the exact issue the first 2 games faced when not playing them casually. But anyways, back to the doors. He suffers from the same issue as Xenomorph, where unlike Dredge, Sadako, Freddy, or even Dracula, who can teleport from wherever they want to fixed locations, you have to walk up to a door, do the animation, go into the selection screen, basically guess where you should go because unlike Sadako or Xenomorph where your destinations are always near generators, or Freddy where it literally is generators, the doors just spawn where chests spawn, and they tend to be in completely random bullshit areas away from generators. It's nice that you get some undetectable for an insanely long duration after exiting one, but it honestly feels like a status effect band-aid fix to make him seem scarier and more like Springtrap. It doesn't really matter when you're so loud, but this does help him a lot, like 30 seconds or something of undetectable. Honestly though, in the end, I was just hoping for way more. I wanted a truly unique killer and not just more reskinned bullshit. This isn't because he's too weak or, not competitively viable enough. I don't care. I just wanted him to be interesting or fun or unique. I feel like as of late, they've done pretty good with killers. Kaneki had an insanely unique form of map traversal never before seen in a killer. Dracula, while literally just being 3 killers in one stitched together, has incredibly unique mechanics like Hellfire sticking to the ground and going over high obstacles, and the unique feel and freedom of bat form which no other killer really has. There hasn't really been a heavily reskinned killer since sense Xenomorph, since others add entirely unique gameplay like playing in third person or having a super unique projectile to learn, but his axe is not that. I'm sure they'll buff him and stuff, but it doesn't even matter because this doesn't feel like Springtrap at all. It's such a letdown for such an iconic character with such a defined personality to just be a shittier huntress. Like, this is the best they could think of? Also, all my worries about the map from the dev livestream came true because holy shit, it's bad. I was worried it wouldn't be an indoor map since we're long overdue for another one, and an indoor map would clearly fit FNAF best, but they literally just took Greenville and slapped a pizzeria in the middle of it. It's so lazy.
Oh look, River, there's the bench double pallet.
Oh no! No! No!
It's the same fucking map!
No!
Someone in my chat said it'd be like if Dracula's map was Shattered Square with Dracula's castle slapped in the middle of it. It's so lame. Not only is this map extremely brain dead and busted with way too many uncountable pallets way too close to each other, but it has the exact same problem as Greenville, where the main building is the coolest part of the map by far, but the killer will never go to it because there's only one generator.
Okay, like just chase me, okay? Like, okay, I'm gonna pre-drop that one. Okay, and then I might as well just fucking pre-drop this one, right?
Oh, okay, I can get around it, right? Oh, never mind. There's another one. Okay.
No, there's another one.
Wait,
Sorry.
I can make it back around though, right? And then there's one right there.
I've been like, you could make it back around, but there's one right here too. So.
It doesn't matter. You can just drop it, and then there's like a god window there, right? So it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
so I'm gonna take this window, and I'm gonna get my life, and now I'm all the way back to these double pallets. Okay. Actually, I'm not gonna even use those double pallets. I'm gonna run to this pallet right here. Yeah, you thought you could hit that, but I'm just gonna pre-drop that. Okay. Yeah, hold that hatchet, buddy. There's another god rock. Yeah, don't break that one. That's fine.
Another double pallet? Okay, I get you here, but I'm fucking Bloodlust 3, so of course I get you here finally.
Unlike Greenville, which actually has a fairly balanced main building, this pizzeria has tons of brain-dead shit in it, multiple god pallets, and extremely abusable windows. But there's only one generator in it, so why even bother going there as killer? Despite it being the coolest part of the map by far, it just leads this map to being another spooky forest map with a dead main building. To give credit where it's due though, I do have to say the main building is visually amazing. It's filled with tons of little details and Easter eggs. In fact, visually the whole chapter is incredible. Springtrap looks great, sounds great, has really smooth and clean animations. His chase music and terror radius music are spot on. Even his Mori is pretty cool, even though it would have made way more sense for him to stuff you in a suit, but I guess that would be way harder to animate. They nailed this chapter thematically with Springtrap's cool animations and voice lines and everything. It's just pretty much everything gameplay-wise, which is complete garbage, and the power doesn't fit him at all. It's seriously hilarious to see people overdosing on copium defending this shit because it's honestly just a really lame chapter for what was supposed to be one of the game's greatest. The perks are okay, honestly, like that's one thing. He has some nice simple perks. Two of them are really good, one of them's kind of bad, but perks could not carry a killer. As you saw with Kaneki, his perks were terrible, but he was a good killer. It's the other way around here. Maybe I'll change my mind, but honestly, these are like the worst first impressions I've had on a new chapter since Houndmaster. But before that, it took at least until Skull Merchant. It's really just a shame. I really wanted to like this, but playing the PTB for myself on stream and coming to my own conclusions made me realize how bare bones it actually is. Springtrap in the PTB before his obvious buffs is maybe a C-tier killer. He has a pretty bad chase power, and he's really weak to pre-running. He's really slow, and he also just actively buffs survivors by existing, which is just stupid. I don't know, man. I can't wait for Art the Clown to be a 40-meter terror radius dash killer because behavior just wants money and doesn't care about properly adapting things.